Maintaining the image of the room, he could see his mother waking up. The rustling of the sheets alerted his older sister of their mother waking up. "Mommy, did you have a good sleep?" Jennifer asked, looking cheerful. His mother nodded her head. "Yes. Mommy feels a lot better after sleeping. Come over here, honey." Jennifer placed the book on the table and got up to go over to their mother. His mother hugged Jennifer, saying, "Thank you for being such a good child, while Mommy was feeling a little tired. Mommy is better now." Letting go of Jennifer, she said, "We should get ready to leave before Daddy is finished, so we're ready for him." Getting out of the bed with relative ease and looking more energetic, his mother gracefully walked over to the suitcase. Opening it, there were some clothes for women. This is likely what his dad brought with him for her. Looking through the various outfits, she found one that she liked and went into the bathroom. Even without the ability to view in, he understood that she was getting changed out of the hospital gown and into her daily clothes. Once she finished changing, she got out of the bathroom and looked several times better. There was a definite glow about her, making her look several times younger than she did before. The improvement in her physical appearance was likely due to his energy, creating something similar to those cultivation web novels he had read before. This time, no excess black waste is coughed up or excreted from the skin, like in those stories. "Mommy, you look so pretty," Jennifer exclaimed, running over and hugging their mom. Their mom laughed lightly at Jennifer's words. "Mommy isn't pretty as you are, my adorable girl." They then spent time going through and making sure everything was ready for them to leave as soon as his dad came back. As they finished preparing everything, Han saw his dad walk into the room. "Jessica," the voice of his dad could be heard, "you're looking better." The expression on his face was a look of amazement, a natural reaction after seeing her looking exhausted on the bed to looking energized and ready for the day. "Yes, Sam. I made sure to get some sleep while you were finishing the paperwork. I didn't want to be a burden for you, so I made sure to take a short nap. After waking up, I feel a lot better and agree that I'm ready to go home," his mom answered. "I'm glad to hear that. I know that I may sound harsh, but I'm just thinking about our family. Plenty of families get buried in medical bills, and with having a newborn, we'll need to be in strong financial position," his father Sam said. His mother nodded her head, understandingly about their circumstances. From the way she looked, their financial situation was not likely in the right place. Compared to how she looked earlier, the glow had dimmed slightly. His father walked over to his mother and placed an arm around her shoulders, trying to comfort her. "Come on, let's go." As they were driving home, Han was in his mother's arms. He spent a lot of time staring at her face, thinking how strong and beautiful a woman she was. Coming from a person who grew up dealing with abuse from those outside of his family, partially due to his heritage, Han had learned that being quiet and accepting of the abuse didn't make you weak. Sometimes you had to endure to survive, or you grew used to it, because it was better than other forms of abuse. When he looked at his mother, he didn't just see someone that was in an unhealthy relationship, but also someone who was a survivor. Sensing his eyes on her, his mother looked down at him and gave him a happy smile. The glow that had dimmed returned whenever she looked at him, like he was some battery that recharged her emotional and physical state. Seeing her look happy was a lot better than before. Though Han had only known her for less than a day, there was a feeling of belonging to this person who gave birth to him. As the car traveled through the neighborhood, Han observed how the surrounding area was designed. The way the houses were orderly and lined up made Han think that they were entering a relatively affluent location. Based on how his father talked, he had thought his family's finances were worse off. Han wondered if the house was provided by the company his dad worked at. There were instances when his former classmates had earned a job at a prestigious company or firm which offered various benefits such as housing. Pulling into the driveway, Han saw that the house was a small colonial-style home with windows on the front and a door in the middle. The outside of it was painted a sky blue color with a gray shingled roof. It wasn't as impressive as the homes he had seen before, but it gave off a comfortable feel to it. Seeing such a place reminded him of the traditional white picket fence fancies that the average worker had, where the man gets a good paying job and after getting married, purchases a nice looking home to raise kids in. Parking the car in the detached garage, he watched his dad get out of the car and walk out of the garage. His mother carefully balanced him as she removed her seatbelt and got out of the car. There was no visible changes in her facial expression at not being helped out of the car, making him think that this was something ordinary for her. As he maintained a view of their surroundings with his ability and observing the world through his eyes, Han seemed to get a better sense of how things appeared. Seeing his father walk to the front door as his wife sat in the car made him feel like he was watching a drama unfold on a video streaming site. When his mother walked through the garage door opening, she said, "Han, welcome to your new home. Though we may not be a wealthy family, I'm going to show you more love than any other family could." She smiled at him as they stood in the driveway outside. "Jessica, is that you?" a woman called out to them. This person was followed by several other women who were dressed in the typical tracksuits worn by housewives when they were walking around the suburbs. "Mindy, how are you doing today?" The other women came closer and seemed to be excited to see what his mother was carrying, which was him. One of them exclaimed, "Jessica, he looks adorable!" By the way this woman was able to know his gender, Han figured it was the color of the blanket that wrapped him. It seemed like the society was similar to the 50s, though the technology was similar to the 80s. The gender of the child was tied to the color that was traditionally connected to the colors blue and pink. With his blanket being blue, the women were able to figure out that his mother had a baby boy. "When did you get back from the hospital?" another of the women asked. "I just arrived, Cindy." His mother smiled at the woman. All of the women were surprised by the news. "How long were you there for?" Mindy asked his mom. "I was only there for the day," she stated. You look great considering," a different woman voiced her thought. As Han watched them all with his ability, he noticed that all of them were blown away by the news. From what he saw of his mother, Han figured that the process was very labor intensive, making the woman need maybe a week to recover from it. He felt himself smile at the idea of how his mother was able to be in a state better than what she was in before the delivery. "Aw, he's smiling," the same woman cooed. Hearing the news, the other women crowded around his mother, poking him with their fingers. Having so many women surrounding him was not a fun experience. He wondered if he should try crying, though he scrapped this idea due to his worry that such interaction would reflect poorly on his new mom. People seemed to blame a mother often if a child cried, as if the mother was some kind of superwoman who could control the temperament of a baby. If a woman was carrying a baby in any public setting and the child cried, everyone around the mother would become judgmental. After what seemed like an eternity, his mother excused herself from the group of women and headed into the house. "What took you so long?" his dad asked as he sat on a reclining chair, in front of what looked like an old television set. "The neighbors just wanted to see Han," his mother quietly answered. From the lack of a response and the sound from the TV, his father seemed to be engrossed by what was happening inside the box. Such a thing seemed to be a favorite TV trope, so seeing it play out in real life was somewhat ironic. Appearing to understand that her husband was distracted, she carried him up the stairs. On the second floor, there seemed to only be 3 rooms and 1 full bathroom. As Han watched his mom walk past one of the rooms, Han turned his consciousness to look into the room. Judging by all the pink in the room, Han guessed that this was his older sister's room. The room that his mother entered was painted blue, with various sports decorations on the walls. This was apparently the room that he was going to be in for the remainder of his time here. Inside the room was a crib, changing table, and drawers. He was impressed by how it looked, considering how his dad was acting like a vegetable downstairs. "How do you like your room, Han?" his mother asked him, as she tilted his body so he could have a better view. It was a typical behavior of parents, even if they know that children his age usually couldn't process anything around them. He was a special exception, so he gave a big smile to make his mom happy. "I'm glad that you're happy with this room. Your daddy worked really hard to make this place for you," she added in. In one of the corners, there was a wooden rocking chair. His mother walked over to it and had a seat in the chair. Sitting in it, his mother began gently rocking back and forth. While she was holding him and rocking, his mother looked at him with love. She started singing a lullaby song as she looked at him. With the window in the back showing a cloudless blue sky, Han thought it was a good decision of doing what he did.